Good evening everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us once again. Just first up, I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody who commented and liked the last video. Thanks to everybody who viewed the last video, and a big welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel. Really do appreciate it, and once again, just big thanks to everybody. It's quite overwhelming, the views to the last video, considering I'm just a small channel, just having a bit of fun, you know, nothing special. Once again, a few people asking, you know, saying I thought the car would have been on the road. You know, a lot of people asking me down at Beck's, etc. I would have liked to have had it down at Beck's at the last Sunday at the Cars on the Coast, but unfortunately Brett and his team at Southern Steering and Suspension down at Seaford, overwhelmed and busy as, and to be quite honest, Brett and his team have worked on all of my cars through to my daily drivers, etc., and I quite honestly wouldn't trust anybody else, so I'm quite prepared to wait. It was booked in before Christmas. It was actually booked in around about November, late November, but yeah, once again they're just absolutely flat out, so I'm quite prepared to wait, and because I know that they're just going to do an absolutely amazing job, like they do on all these old classics, etc., and anything that they actually touch, but they just do an outstanding job. So once again, I'm quite prepared to wait. So I've and my wife Shani have tidied up a heap of loose ends on the car. As you can see, we've sort of got the engine bay. Got some air socks on there now. Got a what do you call it? I've got my hard filter on there now. Taking the soft visible one off of there. So I've got a hard filter and a little cap at the back of the rocker cover, which I've never had also. So yeah, pretty happy with how she's all slowly but surely coming together. Once again, so what I'm going to do in this video is, like the title says, going to make a little bit of noise. Hasn't been started up for quite since the last video on it, when I just freshly got it going. So I thought I'll take the opportunity just to set up the tripod, and you know, for those who like the sound of a Hemi 6, etc. We'll make a little bit of noise. So I've also got the interior back in the car, so I'm really happy with that. Hopefully this will, you know, I'll just get my light on here. But yeah, we've got the interior back in the car, so I'm pretty happy with all of that. So what I'll do is, like I said, I'll set up once again, I've got the carpet in here and so forth. So yeah, pretty happy with how she's all come back to life and back together after it was all pulled apart again. Yeah, we've got the back seat in there, front seats in here. These are actually out of a quite well-known Charger in New South Wales, I believe Daniel lives, but they're out of the Reaper Charger, and I have to say a massive thank you to Daniel too for selling me these seats, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, kissed on the dick by the Ferries. He really looked after me, but I also built him a diff center, 9-inch center, and supplied some 31 spline axles too, and I really sharpened my pencil for him, because he's a really top bloke, you know, just a genuine top bloke, man. So yeah, a lot of respect for Daniel. Once again, thanks, buddy. So yeah, what I'll do is I reckon I'll set up the tripod and start it up, and like the video says, make a little bit of noise. Okay, so I've got my tripod set up with the GoPro, and I'm just using my camera at the moment, so I hope this turns out alright. I'll just wait and see how we go. I haven't done this sort of thing before, using two cameras and so forth, but yeah, alrighty. So once again, very happy with how the interior, like even got an interior light, really happy with that. Once again, really happy with how the interiors come together and so forth. And I'm starting this from dead cold. I haven't got any heat in it at all, so but yeah, we've got the fuel tech hooked up now, and the tacho calibrated to what it should be. Yeah, carpets in, and yeah, let's see how we go. So as you can see, the fuel tech just heats up. It's operating in laminar, which is different to AFRs, but laminar is a bit more accurate as well, and there's a base for everything. So that's heating up. You don't have to wait for it to heat up, but it's probably a good idea to let the sensor heat up. Now you've got 3 bars there, which says let's make some noise. Alright, so let's see how we go. Like I said, I haven't started this for a couple of months. Back to where it should be, which is 80, 85, perfect really. That's dead cold, cold start. So like I said, that hasn't been started for easily probably a couple of months. Well, since the last video, I'll have to have a look up and see when the last was, when it was last started. I haven't got the steering wheel hasn't been, you know, secured down. It hasn't got the snug nut on there even yet, because the whole wheel alignment has to be done, as you can imagine. So if this is clocked out, they want to be able to remove the hub and clock it to the right position for me, and do that, because I've changed the steering column and everything in this car since it went to the auto electrician, which was probably the best thing I ever did. Put a new ignition switch in it, gone over the whole car. You can see she's running some good oil pressure. I've only just got some Valvoline in there at the moment. Once I get it running properly, I'll do an oil change and put some ULX 110 in there, which is awesome oil. But yeah, so like I said, I just thought I'd run it up through a heat cycle, let it heat up, and then put it through the gears and just give everything a bit of a lube over, you know. So that's just burring away at 700 RPM. 600 RPM, which for a big cam like this with a Holly, that just would not be, that's just non-existent. So you gotta love the sound of those Webers. Oh yeah, baby. Love it. Yeah, she's just burring. Got under here, it's got a thermostat as well. I don't know if you can see that very much. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, it's got a Davis Craig thermostat under there. So as you can see, she's starting to just go up a little bit. Yeah, that's all hidden away underneath there, and yeah. Put out many years ago. Jason Maros actually showed it to me, where the Hemi 6s were sold to a lot of sales reps, etc., that would just jump in them in the morning, pressure. It's actually in a Chrysler bulletin that he gave me for the dealerships, and so that's actually a thing. With a cold start, you can really put some stress on the oil pump, which is really not a good thing. So this oil pump in this car has been dowed and pinned. Drilled and pinned. The oil pump, the impeller shaft in the oil pump, and the actual pump drive itself for the cam has been welded to the shaft as well, because when I first started racing this engine, we were stripping. I'd lose oil pressure when it would get warm, and it turned out that it was actually had stripped the oil pump drive, the shaft out of the drive, and hence we were losing oil pressure. So yeah, that's one thing you just don't do with these things, is give them a good old boot full when they're cold. Give them all temperature until you can actually touch the oil filter, or can't touch the oil filter, so it's nice and warm, so that the oil's warmed up and not extremely thick, put extra stress on the pump drive. That's idling at just under 800 RPM, which is probably a little bit low. When she gets done, it'll probably warm up. It'll probably come up a little bit more. Oh yeah, it's starting to warm up now nicely. It's probably about 20 odd. It's about 25 degrees at the moment. In fact, let's have a look what it is in the shed. Saying it's about 31 degrees in the shed, so that's pretty cool. And the fan comes on automatically, naturally through the Davis brake drive. I haven't got the water is topped up at the moment, and I haven't got an overflow bottle on at the moment, so just another thing that I need to tidy up and work out a location, etc. So what I reckon I'll do now is she's warmed up a little bit. I'll run it through the gears and just drive it for a little bit and get the fluids all rotating through everything. for stepping in front of the camera so often. I apologise for that. I'm pretty happy with this small fan. Moves a lot of air. It's actually in here. That's holding it at 190, which is pretty much perfect. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I think what I'll do is no need to continue with that because it's up to oil, up to temperature. The oil's nice and warm, radiator's nice and warm as we can see. So I think what I'll do is I'll switch it off now. Alrighty, so I think what I'll do now is put the fan in front of it, give it some cool air, and I'll get back to you in a little bit. Okay, as you can see, I've got the old dyno fan on. These things are bloody great. Whenever I bring the cars home, I stick one of these in front of it. When I put it in the shed, they're just fantastic. So that's cooled it down quite a bit. So what I'll actually do is just, what I usually do, I don't know about everybody else, but I generally get in it now. Once it's sat for a while and the cold air, the cold water, etc., that's in the radiator, well, I just turn it over and let that circulate through the engine, and yeah, so it just cools down a bit quicker. That's all. I'll just let the fuel tech heat up. So that's all ready to go now. So let's fire up. Circulate a bit of the cold water through the engine. Plus I like hearing the old girl. Yeah, as you can see, like that's just idling away now at about, you know, 820, 840. It's perfect. So it'll probably be a bit higher. AFRs are really good. Or lambda AFR, which is still your air fuel. Alright, so let's shut her down. Beautiful. Really happy with that. Yeah, really happy with that. So I reckon that'll do us. Like I said, I just wanted to just excuse me for a minute. Run a temperature through the car. Get everything up to temperature in the car, and just run it because it hasn't been run for a few weeks now. Or a few months actually since the last video. So yeah, once again I just thought I would run it and give it a heat cycle and run it through the gears, let everything sort of you know, lubricate itself and so forth. And once again, it's not as good as going for a drive, but you know, that's coming soon. So hopefully early new year I'll have my space up at Southern Steering and Suspension. Like I said, I wouldn't trust anybody else. The guys up there are absolute legends. Brett really knows his stuff. He did a lot of work with the brakes on my E55. And once again, he'll be doing a full nut and bolt check under this car, and doing all the setting up the wheel alignment, and also doing a final bleed on my brakes because I'm no brake mechanic, etc. He is, and yeah, I'd just like him to get in to set the whole car up for me. And once again, like I said, they do a fantastic job. So yeah, I reckon that'll pretty much do us for this video. Bit short and sharp, bit boring for some maybe. Perhaps just fast forward through it. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for joining us.